From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
Hello and a warm welcome to News Hour tonight. I'm Zainab Bala. The headlines. Many feared killed in bomb explosion in Taraba State. Officers of the Nigerian Air Force feared killed in a plane crash that occurred on Tuesday in Kaduna State. Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, officially declares his intention to run for presidency. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres calls for a 4-day truce in Russia-Ukraine war. Hello and a warm welcome. Many feared killed when a bomb planted by an unknown person at Iwari town in Ado local government area of Taraba State at about 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Daily Trust gathered that the bomb went off at a local government bear joint crowded by many people. It was further gathered that more than 20 people, including women, sustained injuries and were rushed to Federal Medical Center in Jalingo. Spokesperson of Taraba Police Command, DSP Usman Abdullahi, confirmed the incident. He said 3 persons were confirmed dead, while 19 people sustained injuries and were brought to Federal Medical Center in Jalingo. Officers of the Nigerian Air Force are feared to have been killed in a plane crash that occurred on Tuesday in Kaduna State. Details of the incident are still sketchy. However, reports say the incident involved a training aircraft which had 2 pilots on board. The development comes 11 months after a NAF aircraft crashed in Kaduna. The incident, which occurred in May 2021, involved a Beechcraft 350 and the aircraft crashed around the Kaduna International Airport. Ibrahim Tahiru, Chief of Air Army Staff, and 10 other military officers who were on board when the plane crashed were killed. Now, many people were feared killed on Sunday when gunmen attacked Ihioma community in Olu local government area of Imo State. There have been 2 contrasting narratives about the killing. While some say the killings were done by the gunmen, others accuse the Nigerian military of targeting civilians in retaliatory attacks on the gunmen. The second narrative led to the hashtag Olu is bleeding, which trended on Twitter on Monday and early Tuesday. A resident who asked not to be named for fear of attacks said heavy shooting began when military personnel engaged the gunmen in a battle. The gunmen, believed to be members of ESN, the militant wing of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, were said to be on a manhunt for members of Ibubeagu Security Network, who reportedly arrived in the area last Saturday. It was learned that the gunmen were infuriated by the presence of the members of the security outfit in the area. In a bid to exonerate itself from allegations of terrorism and other gruesome acts leveled against it by security agents, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has amassed and placed a reward for anybody who reveals the hideouts of gunmen terrorizing the southeast. While fingering some members of Ibubeagu security outfits as masterminds of the insecurity situation in the zone, IPOB also accused some politicians who it alleged groomed the gunmen for selfish political reasons but have become uncontrollable. IPOB, in a statement by its spokesperson, Ima Powerful, named the sponsors and fake members of the Eastern security outfits to include 1 Nigerian Sky from Imutazi, 2 men from Umuna, Wasara Commander from Amagu, Gezek Akirikuata, No One Double Lion, and Uru. The group urged members of the public to report the on-the-listed names to it for prompt action. There was panic at Ungwambulus in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State as bandits killed 3 of the 26 villagers abducted on March 21, 2022. After abducting them, the bandits had demanded 20 million naira ransom for each of the captives. The bandits executed 3 of the victims on Monday night, threatening to kill more by 12 noon on Tuesday if their demands are not met. The chief of Ungwambulus, Gideon Haruna Goni, who confirmed the killing of the 3 victims, said the bandits called the community to inform that they should pick the corpses around Dutse community along the Kaduna-Abuja highway. The chief said the corpses had been retrieved, adding that the bandits said if the family failed to pay 20 million naira each for all the captives before 12 p.m. of Tuesday, April 19th, the remaining victims will be killed. At least 2 security personnel were killed and an unspecified number wounded when Islamic State of the West African province ISWAP fighters attacked a military formation near Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. This came less than 24 hours after the multinational joint task force confirmed that it killed more than 100 fighters, including 10 top commanders of ISWAP at the Lake Chad Basin region. It was gathered that the gun battle, which began at exactly 6 p.m., caused hundreds of civilians to flee their homes in Molai General Area in Maiduguri. Sources say the terrorists, who came in a large number and armed with sophisticated weapons, invaded the security checkpoint manned by Joint Task Force Operation Hatlunkai, comprising military and mobile policemen. In another development, Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, has officially declared his intention to run for the position of president on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, the APC. He said APC did not fail, as many would like to say. Ngige, while addressing his supporters in his hometown at Alo in Idemili North, Anambra State, on Tuesday, also said President Muhammadu Buhari had not failed. According to him, the president worked with the resources available to him. Ngige said if given the opportunity to lead, he would be a president everybody would be proud of. He said he has what it takes to become Nigeria's next president, adding that his present position had broadened his horizons and exposed him to the reality of Nigeria. Elsewhere, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje of Kano State has said his Rivers counterpart, Nyesom Wike, will lose the presidential election. Ganduje said this when Wike paid him a visit in Kano Monday as part of consultations for the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. The Kano State governor, who did not mince words in the viral video that surfaced after their meeting, was heard telling Wike, "At the end of it, you will lose, but you will be a good loser." Earlier, the Rivers State governor had said he would probably have abandoned his presidential ambition of Ganduje if Ganduje had denied to join the race to save Nigeria. He also added that party differences should not make them work against the country, however, urged him to work together to salvage the country. There was confusion at the Congress of the Imo State chapter of Social Democratic Party as delegates exchanged blows following a disagreement amongst them. It was gathered that trouble started when the chairman of the party, Owerri Zone, Chidebere Oja, insisted that the Congress would not go on suspension, insisting that some members of the party were working with other parties to hijack the party. The disagreement degenerated as the members freely threw chairs and any nearby objects at one another. They asked the staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission invited for the exercise to leave. The state chairman of the party, Ben Onochie, who spoke to newsmen, said the exercise had to be suspended to restore order. He said that a new date will be made known after a meeting of the State Working Committee. Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State has said the proposal for the constitution of an interim administration after the expiration of President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure can give room for anarchy. The governor said this on Tuesday while responding to questions from State House reporters after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Still ahead, in line with Section 84, subsection 12 of the amended Electoral Act, no fewer than 53 commissioners and other aides of state governors have resigned across the country to contest for elective positions in the 2023 general elections. This is coming just as ministers and the federal level, including Rotimi Amechi, Senator Chris Ngige, Abubakar Malami, and other heads of federal agencies who are eyeing elective positions are yet to tender their resignation. While Amechi has since declared for the presidency, Ngige, barring any last-minute change, is expected to declare for the same position. Malami, on his part, according to sources around him, is set to contest the governorship election of his home state in Kebbi State. Many heads of federal agencies who have indicated an interest to contest governorship, senatorial, and House of Representatives elections are expected to follow suit in the days ahead. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State has directed his Chief of Staff, Ali Haruna Makuda, as well as 3 commissioners who resigned to continue carrying out their duties. Ganduje's Chief Press Secretary, Abba Anwar, who disclosed this in a statement, said the governor accepted the resignation of 7 other commissioners. Among the commissioners are the governor directed to return to their duty posts are Noura Mohammed Dankade, Sanusi Said Kiru and Dr. Aminu Sanyawa, commissioners for budget and planning, education and health. Makoda is said to be targeting the House of Representatives ticket for Makoda Dambata constituency, while Dankade is said to be nursing the ambition to oust the current majority leader of the House of Representatives, Alhassan Ado Dogwa, as the representative of Dogwa Tudunwada constituency at the Green Chamber. More religious leaders in the country are speaking against the raging insecurity in Nigeria. This follows the heightened fears of the wave of insecurity and poor strategic plan to fight insurgents. The report. We'll bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletin. Now, the presidency has berated the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Most Reverend Matthew Kuka, over his criticisms of the government, urging him to face his job or join politics. Presidential aide Garba Shehu said this in a statement on Monday evening, hours after the cleric accused the Muhammadu Buhari government in his Easter message of dividing Nigerians. He also accused the cleric of making baseless accusations against the federal government. According to the presidential aide, Bishop Kuka chose to use the Easter period, which serves as a period of reflection for Christians, to make dissensions and quarrels about the law. Shehu described the accusatory list against the government as a revelation of the bishop's hatred for the administration and enjoined the cleric to always criticize in the spirit of gentleness if need be. You're watching News Hour on Trust and Television. Coming up, you get to see details of the downturn in cow skin business. Details of this and more after the break. This day.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust Television. Here are our top stories. Many feared killed when a bomb went on, which was planted by a known person at Iwari town in Ado local government area of Taraba State at about 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Officers of the Nigerian Air Force are feared to have been killed in a plane crash that occurred on Tuesday in Kaduna State. Moving on, we have in the studio Inuwa Bakari Jalingos. He's the Census Manager at National Population Commission to respond to important questions surrounding the proposed National Population and Housing Census to happen in March or April of 2023. Hello and welcome to News Hour.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's nice to have you on the program. Now, it's been 16 years, since we last had, the National Population Census. And then the proposed timing is just around, the elections. Is that really a good time to conduct census?
Thank you very much. We have put all this into consideration in trying to plan for the census. If you look at the set of activities, you realize that we are going to do the pilot census in June, just after the primaries. And then we are going to do the main census immediately after the gubernatorial election in April next year.
Right.
So all these have been put into consideration in arriving at the dates that have been approved by the president after the State Council of State meeting last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's been quite a number of criticism, by people with regards to, to the timing, of this. Wouldn't this, prompt some form of discomfort?
No, if you recall, in follow to the 2006 census, it was just about the election time.
Right.
And apart from Nigeria, census is a statutory things that are held almost every decennial, that is 10 years in many countries. Indians have been doing it for over 100 years. Even Ghana, despite the ravaging COVID in 2019, still went ahead to conduct their census. Because that is how important census is to any country in terms of planning and national development.
So in terms of technology, because as we're seeing, the world have quite moved on, with this. In terms of deployment of technology, are we going to see a lot of that, as we, look ahead?
Yeah, this is a very, very different census. It's a digital census. And Nigeria is going to be the fourth country that is taking a shot of the digital census after Kenya, Ghana, and presently ongoing in South Africa, which we also went to review. So digital census bring a lot of opportunities. It gives you reliable, real-time data, and also timely data. Unlike before where we do the traditional census, it takes 6 months, 1 year, or sometimes 2 years to be able to release the results. But digital census provide opportunity for high-quality data, for accuracy, and for real-time monitoring of the census process. And we are not new in that in the National Population Commission. Our enumeration area demarcation, which is the census mapping, which we completed in about 772 local government areas, it was based on this digital platform. And I can tell you, Nigeria has one of the highest repository of geospatial data in Africa, which is an outcome of what we have done with the enumeration area demarcation, and which earned us an award by, in the United States of America later this year for doing that mapping exercise. And this exercise, which is 100% homegrown, using homegrown software to do, has also earned us recognition in statistical data collection. And presently, we have sent a team to assist Sierra Leone with their own mapping exercise as a result of what we have done with the enumeration area demarcation in Nigeria.
Okay, so with these technological advancements that you've mentioned, are we sure we're not going to see any hitch, any irregularities?
Yeah, that is why we conducted the first pre-test. That is why we conducted the second pre-test. That's why we are going to do a massive pilot census in June. And all this is to try and ensure that your system works, your whatever technology you are deploying works. Census is not a testing ground. It's a massive exercise. After war, there is no exercise that is massive as the census. So we can't afford to have hitches. We are trying all our possible best to ensure that we carry on a very, very good exercise. And that is why we are going to do the pilot, which is just a dress rehearsal for the census. It gives us from end to end in terms of what we intend to implement for the census. And assuming that we experience anything, definitely we will try to take redress. And apart from that, we are also studying countries that have done digital census, like I have told you, Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa. We are seeing what are the prospects, what are the challenges, what are the solutions. And we are collaborating with international experts, both local and international experts, to try and as much as possible to ensure that we have a seamless and exercise.
Okay. Now, earlier in our conversation, you talked about data. Now, stakeholders, I think I saw a data that showed that almost 54% thereabout of Nigerian children and also other individuals in the country have not registered, births and also deaths and all that, because stakeholders have emphasized on the importance of having this data to make it a bit much easier to conduct census.
Yeah, the voter registration system is totally a different system with the census. Is that clear? And it is also one of the prerogatives of the commission to collect this birth and death registration. So far, we have about 4,000 registration centers. If you look at how massive Nigeria is, it's a far cry of the number of centers we are likely going to have. And so the commission is working assiduously and have started digitizing the process of the birth registration, and also is working assiduously to expand also on the birth registrations. These are activities that normally happen after, because the census is a so massive exercise that once it is well done, this data from birth registration and other civil registration system also provides additional information to the population of the country for national planning and development.
Okay. Presently, we all know that Nigeria is grappling with security challenges, and all of that. Have you made, preparations, for some, security challenges that might arise as you conduct this census?
we are all observing all the issues. Our chairman has been holding high-level advocacy meetings with the military, the Air Force, the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, and even the Civil Defense. We are networking with all the state governors in terms of trying to see how to overcome this. But I can tell you, the commission, just last week, we have done updating of enumeration areas in 171 local government areas across the country. And we don't have issues in those local government areas. And as you may be aware, we have done about 772 local government areas of the enumeration area mapping. So, and these are all very, very massive exercises. And security is part of the main reason why we need census data. At least we want to know how many people are covering a certain population of Nigerian population in terms of security. It is only a census that can provide you this data. And Nigeria, we don't stop eating. We need the government to plan and provide food for us. The government needs to know how many people they are providing food. We need schools. The government needs to know how many people they are providing schools, what kind of schools. And also we need health facilities. The government needs to know what number of people and what is the age category of these people they are providing these health facilities. So all this is showing how dynamic and how important data is, even to the security, the subject of security in the country.
Okay. Now, in terms, of budget, how much rather is the commission looking at? How much of budget are we looking at here?
As of now, the budget for the census is about 432 billion naira. And to assess census budget, all you need to do is to divide the population of the country by the amount that is being projected.
Okay.
And expectedly, you should be able to have a minimum of about $5 to count one person. And in Nigerian budget, I think we are just about that. That is the minimum expected. So we are still within the international minimum rate in terms of budgeting. And one thing with census budget is that about 60% of the money is going to be paid back to field functionaries, supervisors, enumerators, field coordinators, and all this. So what we are going to probably buy in terms of equipment and this is all about less than 40%. So most of the money is still going back to the economy to pay field functionaries, and I think that Mr. President is doing a lot to empower Nigerians through different platforms. So I think census is another platform where people are going to be empowered because they are going to get work. It's going to engage a lot of youths that are going to be, we're recruiting over 1 million and 1.5 million Nigerians to work for the census. This is massive.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I believe it's also going to improve in terms of the income of the people.
Oh, well, look out, to get updates as you prepare, for the census. Thank you so much for coming on the program. I've been speaking with Inua Bakari Jalungo, he's Census Manager, National Population Commission, responding to important questions surrounding the proposed date for the National Population Census in Nigeria. Now, moving on, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, on Tuesday confirmed Olumuyiwa Adejobi as Substantive Public Relations Officer of the force. Adejobi, a Chief Superintendent of Police, had been in acting capacity since a former spokesman of the force, Frank Mba, proceeded to NIPSS crew for a course. In a statement signed by Anjuguri Manza, the admin officer at Public Relations Department of the Force, Baba charged Adejobi to justify the confidence reposed in him. Adejobi, who studied archaeology and geography in the University of Ibadan, holds a master's degree in peace and conflict study from the same university. He served as police public relations officer in Ogun State Police Command from 2008 to 2016. Now, police have invited the parties involved in the alleged abuse of a 10-year-old pupil of Chrisland schools in Lagos State. The public relations officer of the Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hudain, confirmed on Tuesday that all parties involved had been contacted. Hudain, however, could not immediately ascertain if the invited persons had reported to the State Criminal Investigation Department at the time of filing this report. Those expected are the police headquarters, where officials of the school, the parents of the girl said to have been abused, the pupil, among others. Now, amid the controversy trailing the alleged abuse of the minor, police authorities in Lagos had vowed to ensure that justice was served in the matter. Now, for decades, Nigeria has been battling with challenges in the power sector. Billions of dollars have been spent to address these challenges, yet the electricity situation remains epileptic. The situation has been worsened by the recent collapse in the national grid that have left many in total darkness. Now, worried by the country's electricity deficit, some residents of Gombe State have resorted to the use of solar panels as an alternative source of power. We'll bring you details of this report subsequently. Now, stakeholders in the creative industry have called for more support and patronage for indigenous artists in order to enable them compete with their counterparts across the globe. They made the call at an event to mark the 2022 World Art Day in Abuja. The report.
The event, which is aimed at promoting the development, diffusion and enjoyment of Art World Day, drew artists from different backgrounds. Speaking to Trust TV, some artists say there's a need for Nigerians to recognize the talent of local artists and give them credit.
There's a lot that we do that people don't really give us credit for. There's a lot we do people don't give us credit for, but the fact is we are still a part of the industry as a whole.
Mustafa Musa and Saidu Hashim are artists who draw inspiration from happenings around them and tell their story through art.
This is the situation of Nigeria. It's in chaos, in shambles, It's bleeding. Mostly in modern Nigeria. This is the bloodshed that is happening. And this side, as you are seeing the bright colors, this is the future of Nigeria. This is the youth that are trying to make changes. Creatives, this goes out to the youth, everybody that is trying to make change in Nigeria. We are trying to shine the light back to what is happening. And this thing has been happening for so long, so that's why I use newspapers, like vintage newspapers. You can see it's from 2012, and it's still happening.
The whole idea behind the work is that this is my own part, playing my part as regards to upcycling and recycling. There are stuff that I use that are scrap material from cardboard and plastic. These are batteries that are powering the machine. This is my favorite tea. This represents hard work of Nigerian and African women. This is just like an identity of the work made in Nigeria. So you get the whole concept. These inscriptions are inspired by the Igbo Nsibidi inscriptions. Yeah.
The 2022 World Arts Day, which had the theme Bande Bharat, was also to commemorate the 75th year of independence and 150th birth anniversary of Rabindranath Tagore.
Now let's take a look at the report about epileptic power supply in Gombe State.
This is one among many houses that opted for solar panels as a source of electricity within Gombe metropolis. The solar inverter powers lighting bulbs, fans and even television. Abubakar Muhammad said he subscribed to solar energy because of epileptic power supply in the country.
Saboda na farko solar nan da kake gani abu ne mai inganci.
The solar panel is very effective. It's from natural sun radiation. For people like me, we can't afford to pay electricity bills. Somebody will pay but don't get the light. There are irregularities.
Wani kuma ya biya din yana samun wutan a inda wutan take amfani daban a inda su kuma suke bada kudin su daban.
But if you have the solar, you can use it at your convenience. Our neighbors benefit from it. We charge their phones here.
Za su turo wayoyin su caji da sauransu duka za su yi amfani da shi.
Abubakar said it cost him about 250,000 naira to install the facility, but he is now enjoying a 24-hour uninterrupted power supply. Other residents like Sadiq Abdullah also highlight the benefit of using solar panels. We use solar because it's affordable and it's reliable. It helps when there is no electricity supply, but with the solar, we use it as a source of lights and charge phones. Analysts say solar panels provide one of the cleanest sources of energy, environmentally friendly. However, because of the cost of securing these panels, many lower-income earners cannot afford to install the system in their homes, a situation that calls for more efforts from government to address the epileptic nature of power supply in the country. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Let's watch the news on Trust Television. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Still ahead, cow skin, popularly known as pomo, is cow skin that has been processed for consumers to cook and eat like beef. Pomo has become a popular local delicacy loved by all, regardless of social class, because of its unique taste and texture. Despite this appeal, the business is experiencing a downturn in northwest Nigeria. Abdullahi Yamadi met some cow skin dealers at Mashi Market in Katsina State and filed in this report.
The overconsumption of pomo, especially in the southwestern Nigeria, is affecting the leather industry. Pomo has become a major part of the Nigerian menu, which means there is little cow hide left to produce leather, out of which shoes, bags, belts, wallets, and other products are made. Marsh Market remains one out of many destinations where cow skin is processed for onward transportation to the southern part of Nigeria. However, the business of processing cow skin or bomo for sale from this part of the country has been declining. This is because of the new regulations and duties introduced by the Nigeria Customs Service to regulate sale of the products. We have some restrictions, especially from the officials of the Nigeria Customs Service. We process this cow skin from markets like this within Nigeria and transport it to the southern part of this country, the same country, but yet the custom officials disturb this business, and as far as we are concerned, we have been relegated to nothing. In fact, we don't know what to do. As you see us here, this business is declining because of the problems we have been having with the Nigeria Customs Service. Despite the new restrictions, there are still some economic benefits that can be derived from the cow skin or bomo business. This business has brought honor and dignity to all of us here. We have been getting what we want from this business. There are a lot of economic benefits out of this business, and we process this cow skin from places like this, but yet we have some challenges. Experts say there are some health hazards that may follow the consumption of such animal hides because of the chemicals that are used to process the products.
I have seen the pandemic that happened with what do you corona. The worst could happen because infection has no boundary, and infection must be controlled. So maybe the only solution to this is the law enforcement agencies, the healthcare workers. Now, we need to move away from port health services to probably state health services.
Though scientifically bomo does not have any nutritional value to human health, many Nigerians believe the sale of the product should be allowed to thrive. After all, there are hundreds of thousands of Nigerians who depend heavily on it for their livelihood. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
A very interesting piece there. Now, the Nigerian stock market on Tuesday continued its rising trend after 2 days of Easter break. The all-share index grew by 0.07% to settle at 47,545.86 points from the previous close of 47,510.38 points. The market capitalization appreciated by 0.07%, gaining 19 billion naira to close at 25.632 trillion from the previous close of 25.613 trillion. The market breadth closed negative as 21 equities appreciated in their share prices against 31 equities that declined in their share prices. Maya led other gainers with 10.00% growth, while Academy Press led other price decliners as it shed 9.72% of its share price. An aggregate of 365.45 million units of shares were traded in 5,790 deals valued at 7 billion naira. With the high level of insecurity in some parts of the country, some farmers have resolved to take advantage of their compounds and nearby farmlands to cultivate their crops rather than returning to their farmlands. Our reporter Gaza Yakubu speaks to a farmer who has abandoned her farmland due to insecurity to produce crops at home.
For those who could not afford irrigation farming system during the dry season, what does the first rain mean to them in the FCT?
Already you can see the first rain reminds us of, it's like the things that are dead are springing back to life. You can see the plants are already even regenerating by themselves. Look at how green they are just in a few rains that we've had. Now we can talk about planting corn, you know.
Last year, some farmers said the rains was misleading, But with the 2022 rainy season, it seems to be more reassuring to farmers. But this time with a difference. For these farmers, she has brought all her crops to her house to avoid the problem of insecurity.
Because I, for one, I have 10 hectares of land that I don't intend to touch this year. Because I've been too beaten. I was harshly beaten last year. The cows ate everything. And there's nowhere to find compensation for those things. It was a lot of loss. Where would I find the courage to go again? Why would I go again when I do not have any guarantee that I will have a yield this year? What has changed? You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So I am not going to farm.
With limited space in her compound, I am curious how much she can cultivate to take care of her family, let alone selling. She seems to have an idea.
You can grow cucumbers and let them trail on your fence line. You can grow ugu and let them trail on your fence line. So all the things that normally will grow that you need to stake can actually cover your walls. From your spinach to your cucumbers to your ugu can all trail on your wall. And even at that, when you have wall, you can also, there are things that don't grow too tall. Things like your water leaves, shrubs, herbs, you can grow on shelves.
She warns that farmers may find it difficult to farm in security-affected areas and advise the public to use their compound to cultivate what will sustain their immediate family. Gaza Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust Television. I'll see you on the other side of the break.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
My name is Tope Fashua. We'll be speaking economics, business, finance, sociology, and politics, all with an aim to contribute our best quota to the upliftment of our fatherland, Nigeria. So what do you think is wrong with our fiscal policy in Nigeria?
A lot of things are wrong. First, I think we have issues with our budgetary plan, which serves as the foundation of the fiscal policy. I mean, federal government's budgetary plan.
Is it true that decentralized banking seeks to eliminate central banking, and how?
Well, in theory, decentralized finance is actually designed to have the potential to eliminate central banking. But I would say decentralized finance is or does not currently have the potential to eliminate central banking.
Welcome back. Still ahead, Nigeria has a female population of 101.67 million and a male population of about 104.47 million. While both are almost neck and neck in terms of numbers, financial inclusion for women in Nigeria currently stands at a worrisome 8%. Chamun Dabeng spoke to a business development consultant, Kate Pam, and brings us more insight. Her report.
Nigeria currently has a national financial inclusion rate of 64.9% and a financial inclusion gender gap of 8%, a situation that leaves many wondering what factors could be contributing to the disparity.
Firstly, I think this is a repercussion or an outcome of those cultural practices that would choose to educate the boy in the family or will sacrifice the girl on the altar of when it comes to education where resources are limited. So this is 10, 20 years after. What do you expect? You know, oftentimes women do not have the financial literacy to adequately prepare themselves and package themselves to access this.
Economic and societal benefits of women's financial inclusion are well documented. By generating assets, enabling the flexibility to respond to family needs, and minimizing risk, women's financial inclusion can help women, their families, and their communities achieve greater economic stability.
Women have the capacity to contribute up to 2.4 billion to add to our GDP to that tune. So if I know that there's a part of the population that can make such immense contribution, why are we wasting time?
Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And on the foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Tuesday denounced Russia's fresh offensive in eastern Ukraine and called for a 4-day truce to mark Orthodox Holy Week. Russia launched dozens of airstrikes across eastern Ukraine overnight as new phase of the bloody conflict opened, with fighting raging in the Donbas region. Guterres said a truce would allow safe passage for civilians to flee the eastern war zone and for humanitarian aid to be delivered to the hardest hit areas. Ukraine's armed forces confirmed fighting had increased throughout the east after President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia had kicked off the widely anticipated offensive in the Donbas, Ukraine's industrial heartland.
I'm calling for a 4-day Holy Week humanitarian pause beginning on Holy Thursday and running through Easter Sunday, April 24th, to allow for the opening of a series of humanitarian.
And in sport, Super Eagles of Nigeria has been drawn in Group A alongside Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, Sao Tome and Principe, or Mauritius in group stage qualifiers for Africa Cup of Nations 2023 to be hosted by Cote d'Ivoire. Ex-football star Lucas Radebe, Salomon Carlo and Confederation of Africa Football Director of Competitions Samson Adamu conducted the draws in Johannesburg, South Africa, with 48 teams grouped in 4 pots occupying Group A. 7-time African winners Egypt in Group D, tagged Group of Death, faces Guinea, Malawi and Ethiopia. Host Cote d'Ivoire, despite qualifying as host, will face Zambia, Comoros and Lesotho to determine who joins them in Group H. AFCON 2022 winners Senegal, Benin Republic, Mozambique and Rwanda are in Group L. Qualifiers for African Cup of Nations will begin in June 2022 in the 3-window qualifiers across Africa. And that's it on News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Have a good night.